welcome the founder and chairman of TAB Global to deliver the welcome speech, Mr. Emmanuel Daniel.
It's the year of the snake, and snake in Chinese culture is she. The Japanese call it herbie. In fact, the Japanese share the same cultural roots as the Chinese. In Vietnam, it's called ti. I was very surprised that the year of the snake, or the animal zodiacs, the 12 animal zodiacs in Chinese culture, is also shared in Tibetan culture. And in Tibetan culture, it's called dre. And I checked on when the Tibetans took on Chinese zodiac signs. It was during the time of Songtsen Gampo, with the famous Tibetan ruler who united the Tibetan tribes and made a deal with the Tang Dynasty emperor and married a Chinese princess. And from there, the Tibetan culture took on the Chinese zodiac signs. The way in which the snake came to be one of the zodiac signs was that the Jade Emperor, as we are told, wanted 12 zodiac signs. So he told all the animals to race each other, and the first 12 to come on would be named as one of the zodiac signs. And what the snake did, what the serpent did, was to tie itself around the hoof of the horse, and then, as the horse galloped towards the finishing line, the snake sort of jumped forward and became the sixth zodiac sign. And so that is what legend has as to how the snake made it into becoming one of the zodiac signs. And the snake as an emblem in humanity, in civilization, goes back way far back into the start of civilization. In Egyptian culture, the snake was a serpent called Uraeus, which was actually a cobra. And cobras featured prominently on the forehead of the pharaoh. The cobra denoted sovereignty, divine authority. And the one interesting thing about the cobra and the serpent or the snake, all through humanity, all through civilization, in all of the different cultures, is that very often it was depicted as female. And I think the reason is that the stories were written by the men, and there was something that they didn't understand about women, and anything that was mysterious and required a lot of understanding was female. In Chinese culture, the story of Bai Fushen, who was nurtured by the dragon, the dragon king of the Eastern Sea for about 1,000 years, found herself becoming a very beautiful princess and fell in love with a human being called Su Xian, and then got the of the monk Fahai, who then went out to destroy her. The story of Bai Fushen is very interesting because when you see how this story evolved in Chinese literature, it started with denoting the snake as being malevolent, seductress, and conniving, and then over time to become loving and supportive with a good heart and with good intention over many generations. But the snake or the serpent was also denoted as being evil or monstrous, as we see the goddess Athena having cursed Medusa for having slept with Poseidon and put snakes as her hair and gave her a face that will turn any man who looked at her into stone. And so here, snakes are depicted as dangerous and terror. But further down in Greek culture, Asclepius, the son of Apollo and who slept with the mortal Coronis, was denoted as being one of the gods who learned the art of healing. And he learned the art ostensibly from snakes talking into his ears, as one of the legends go. And so the rod of Asclepius denotes healing. And it is a rod that got carried way down into history, and today is the emblem of the World Health Organization to denote the hope that healing brings to humanity. So the animal that we fear the most turned out to also be the animal and the source of healing. In Japanese culture, Yamata no Orochi, the 8-headed and 8-tailed serpent, was a terror. And it was killed by the storm god Susanoo, who slayed the serpent to save the maidens who were being devoured by this serpent. But at the time that he slayed the serpent, he also found the kusanagi sword in the serpent's tail. And the kusanagi sword, as our Japanese friends will know, to this day depicts potent power, authority, and protection. It is in fact believed to be located today in Atsuta Shrine in Nagoya, and is an emblem of the emperor to this very day. And so it is that the snake has come to mean many different things in human society, in civilization as we know it to be. In Indian mythology, every year the celebration of Nag Panchami festival is celebrated in India, dedicated to snakes. And one of the elements that they celebrate is they celebrate the day when King Vasuki lent his body to gods and demons who worked together, as you can see from the visual, to churn the ocean of milk to obtain the nectar of immortality. So all through human society, we were always enamored with this idea of immortality. And in many different cultures, there are tales of how humanity endeavored through great extremes and worked even with the gods, and demons worked with gods, and demons worked with the good in humanity to bring out this value of immortality. But in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the hero Gilgamesh discovered something. When his friend Enkidu died, he discovered a plant that he thought was going to give him immortality. And in this episode, where he was just about to eat that plant, a snake came in and stole that plant from him and ate the plant and then shed its skin. And the message there was that renewal and rebirth was more important than immortality. And that ability to renew yourself was a more enduring feature that humanity should aspire to. And so it is that in the story of Adam and Eve, the snake or the serpent lured Eve first, and that famous line from Adam, "The woman made me do it." That the woman enticed Adam to eat of the fruit of knowledge so that we could be like God. But the punishment for eating the fruit of knowledge was to lose immortality and to become mortal. And then that takes us back to the story of Gilgamesh, where you exchange immortality for renewal and rebirth. Why are all these stories important to us today? When we think about what AI is about to do to human society, it is bringing us the fruit of immortality or the fruit of knowledge before us and asking us to make the choice. The engineers and the founders who are taking us to the frontiers of AI know very well, and in fact they describe this, that it is far more potent than the atomic bombs that were released 70 years ago. It may be slower it may be quieter, it may be not as dramatic as a physical explosion, but it is as dramatic and fundamental and profound in human society as anything that has affected us in the past. And so it is that we have in front of us choices to be made. How far do we want to go with AI? Would we want to let AI lead us into a destiny for which we will not have control? Should we opt for rebirth in exchange for immortality? If anything, AI forces us, has made that decision for us, that the renewal and the subsequent renewal and the continuous renewal of human society is the only hope we have left, that the next generation will take us into another level of humanity that we do not know today. A few days ago, I watched a movie in Beijing, Nurcha. I watched Nurcha 2. It is the story of a demon born into royalty, trying to resist the destiny that it has been given, and doing everything with its power to be what it thinks it will eventually become. And the interesting value in that story is that it pits good versus evil, and that there is good in evil and evil in good. And so it is that many things that are happening in our society today, in the world today, at the geopolitical level, leaders who are essentially evil, but from whom it may well be that we will see some good. And leaders who we may even deem to be good, but who may be harboring evil that are unsustainable for human society into the future. And so we need a new paradigm by which we value ourselves, value the technologies that are being presented to us, and the leaders who are taking us into an indeterminate future. With great power comes great responsibility. This is my gift. This is my curse. This is who I am, and this is what I want to be. Thank you.